It's fantasy football draft season. Everybody's drafting right now, especially this weekend, all throughout the week, up until the start of the season. It's going to get hot and heavy. And today we're going to strategize around the first 3 rounds of the draft. I'm going to give you some picks, some guys I like, how to build your teams in the first couple rounds, looking at areas of the draft of where you can capitalize if something happens. But before we dig in, you need to drop below in the comment section how you started off your draft to help somebody else out. On top of that, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're covering draft strategies. We're dropping rankings on here, right on the channel, and we're going to help you set your lineups and find gems off the waiver wire all season long. Click that button. Stop missing out. Ric Flair's watching. You do not want to disappoint Ric Flair. But starting off here in the start of drafts here, picks 101 to the 105. It's rather interesting. There's not really a wrong selection. You can also, if you want, and that's up to you, throw Justin Jefferson into the mix. And it's not really about the player, like player good, player bad. It's how to strategize and what to do if what happens and what you want to do as well. So this is a good area of the draft where you could go double hero RB, load up at running back, take 2 of them. This is also a good area of the draft where you can take one of those top running backs, wait to see what comes back at you, and maybe you get loaded at wide receiver. You also can get one of the stud wide receivers, and maybe you can start off with like a 0 RB build, or you can go running back, wide receiver, running back. But you also want to think about the second round. There's a good probability that one of these good running backs come your way. My picks here, Chase Brown and Jonathan Taylor. Both of them explosive. Chase Brown is in an offense that's going to use them in the passing game. That's going to be in a lot of shootouts. Taylor led the league in opportunities last year. He should be getting a lot of work. It looks like Anthony Richardson's on the come up a little bit right now. At least A.D. Mitchell's starting to heat up. We'll see how the quarterback play. It could be a little bit rocky once we get into the season. On top of that, Josh Jacobs, a veteran running back who is steady. Bucky Irving, I'm not down on him, but I will draft him. But he also has some upside this season. And then when you get to that 3rd round, when it's coming back to you, just take what's there. It could be another running back. Odds are most home leagues, maybe not. But you're also looking at some wide receivers who could be coming your way. And you're looking at those wide receivers, though. There's a lot of them. And you're starting off Chase, Lamb, maybe Jefferson, depending on your flavor and what you want to do. I'm open to what you want to do. I like Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill getting healthy on a Dolphins offense with a healthy quarterback. Looks like they're going to be in some shootouts. Those DBs are getting burnt in the joint practices from what we're seeing in the clips. And then you're looking at the 3rd round here. When you're coming back on that turn, you got Higgins, Marvin Harrison, and you really got your flavors too when you're looking at that. Garrett Wilson's after him in ADP. Prior to them, you got Lad McConkey, and you never know how these drafts are going to go, especially in home league drafts. There could be a run at the running back position, which pushes some of these wide receivers back. So you could end up with a build where you're going 3 straight wide receivers, and now you're looking at the dead zone area going running back. You could also end up with a build where you go wide receiver, running back, maybe like a Lamb, Chase Brown, and maybe somebody falls to you. Maybe Tyreek Hill falls to you. Maybe somebody's worried about that, or your league's worried about him. But there's a lot of good options here. I like Tyreek Hill where he's at. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. could have a glow up this year. He had some good numbers last year. He's getting a good average depth of target. He was missed on a lot of targets last year by Kyler Murray. He could have a good glow up. But you're looking at the middle of the draft. 106 to the 109 here. And there's some questions here due to injuries or recent injuries like Christian McCaffrey. Are you going to trust him? Are you in or are you out? That is the question. You either are or you're not. A lot of people are, and there are a lot of people that are just going to fade. Justin Jefferson's dealing with a hamstring. I'm not worried about it personally, but that's also your preference because there's opportunity costs on the table. Like you can go Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, maybe one of the other running backs fall your way. But that 2nd round for your build, when it's coming back at you, it's pretty locked and loaded at wide receiver, but you also got some running backs that you might pull the trigger on earlier in the 1st round if you don't like what's there. And it's okay to reach a little bit for your guy. Like Derrick Henry, Devin Achane. Around this area, it's a little bit above ADP. But traditional home league drafts, if you go that way, you're still going to catch some wide receivers in the 2nd round that you like. There's some running backs that you can pull up on too. One of my picks here in the third round is Kyren Williams. I think still at a great price tag. He got signed, he got extended, he got that contract. Garrett Wilson there is an interesting ad. A.J. Brown's dealing with an injury right now. That's something to pay attention to right now in drafts, whether or not you're in or you're out. Also, you want to pay attention just in case he falls in your draft when people look at that injury tag that's listed there. So in the first round, it's okay if you want to pull up on one of those running backs and get them above ADP if you want to go running back heavy, because the top running backs are going to be gone. And Christian McCaffrey could even be off the board, but you want to go running back and you want to go with the wide receivers, because after that, it's going to be coming back at you. Maybe an A.J. Brown, a Drake London, who I like this year, a Ladd McConkey, who came on strong last year. I like him too, but we're also watching the offensive line. We're watching how that evolves. We're watching that. When you're looking at stacks here, considering ADP-wise there's less running backs, you're going to have to pull up on one of those running backs if you want to go with a running back heavy build. This is also a good area of the draft to start off loading up at wide receiver. Like a Justin Jefferson Ladd, that's a pretty sexy stack to start off wide receiver. Nico Collins is a guy that could go off this year. If he's healthy wire to wire, he's a wide receiver 1. And if you go him and Drake London, him and Ladd, him and A.J. Brown if he's healthy. If you got Malik Neighbors, Drake London, that's a nasty stack at wide receiver. You're going to be tough to contend with. And then you can probably roll up with maybe a Kyren Williams if you're lucky. Maybe a Marion Hampton if you're lucky in a home league draft. I look for home league drafts, Kyren Williams and a Marion Hampton, or at least Kyren Williams, to go up a few spots. Because on home league drafts, when you're drafting with your buddies, the running backs go up a little bit earlier. Younger players like rookies kind of fade a little bit more. And you're looking at the wide receivers in this area. Like I've been saying, this is a good area to stack up on wide receiver unless you pull up on those running backs, Devin and Derrick Henry, and also Ashton Jeanty a little bit earlier than ADP to make sure you get those running backs. Brock Bowers is an interesting slot here, because you can go power running back, power tight end, be anchored down at those positions, and be rather studly, and you'll still have good wide receivers there in the third round. That's something to pay attention to. But over here on the turn, those last 3 picks of the first round starting off, it's very interesting. You still got good wide receivers. You still got some running backs to look at. You kind of got a power play here because something's going to fall to you. I like the turn. On top of that, you look at all the draft strategies out there. Zero RB, here RB, double here RB, all of them. Like, you can start off with a strategy of your flavor. And since you're on the turn and 2 players are coming at you at a time, you could honestly abort the strategy whenever, because you got a good pocket of players coming at you and you just go off of what's on the board, best player available, and you have a better option for that instead of being right in the middle, just things pendulum back to you, back and forth. So you're looking at that. Another thing I like here is double tapping running back. HN, Henry, Jeanty Henry, Jeanty H. It's your flavor. It's what you want to do. But on top of that, you can get a stud running back and a stud wide receiver like Amon-Ra and Henry, Amon-Ra and HN. I think you got a power play here where you can really take advantage of this. You can go Brian Thomas and Amon-Ra. Maybe if you're lucky and running backs fly off the board and you can stack Amon-Ra Puka, come off strong, then what's coming back at you is maybe a running back that you like. Maybe a running back falls to you. Maybe you just attack running backs in the dead zone. Really depends on what happens on the board, but you got a good power play there at wide receiver. And you're looking at what's here on the board, and you got George Kittle. He's going to get a lot of targets. Ayuk's on the pup. Ricky Pearsall's on the comeback. Christian McCaffrey's back. That's really going to put heat on those linebackers if you really think about it. George Kittle's probably going to heat up. He's at a good position in ADP. He's actually pretty cheap considering he's a tight end. That's going to be a power move at the tight end spot here. So you're looking at that as a possible player to go after. And you're looking at the stack there on the turn. I really love this. HN and Henry. Like, you're getting 2 top-tier running backs that are very productive. The only thing that can hurt you is injuries. And a lot of people will plant flags, take Derrick Henry out of their top 10 due to they're guessing that he's going to catch an injury. But that could really just happen to any running back in the league. It's just the right hit at the right moment, the right pull at the right moment when you're running on the hamstring. It is what it is. And nothing changes unless something changes, and both these running backs have been productive. Even in bad situations, they have been productive, and the situation doesn't matter, and you're catching them on the tail. If I can get these guys 1, 2 in my draft, which in some leagues it's going to be hard to do because every league is different, especially some leagues are heavier at running back. Maybe you're playing with a bunch of old guys who's been drafting since the 90s, and that's just what they do. This is a good stack on the tail. This is a good stack, and this is going to start a run at running back, and wide receivers are going to fall to you in that other turn that's coming back at you on the 3-4. And you're thinking about that. You're thinking about those wide receivers there. Brian Thomas Jr. is cool. Mike Evans got a lot of upside. I love Davante Adams here. I think Davante Adams could be a league winner for you. So if he flies to you and you got a good stack of running backs, or even if you go Amon-Ra, Jeanty, or Henry, and you're able to nail Davante Adams on the comeback, that could be a nasty stack and set of players to start off your draft. I think George Kittle is a tight end that could be a tier off when it comes to the tight end spot. Like, I think he's going to have a nice season this year, as long as he's healthy and on the field, like you can say with a lot of players. But I think he's in line for a lot of workload here. Talking about wide receivers that could fall to you, you could get Marvin Harrison, T. Higgins, and Garrett Wilson depending on the league and depending if there's a running back run, which does happen in some instances. Not everybody drafts according to ADP. Not everybody drafts according to plan. And if you create FOMO, double tap, and running back, there's a chance that could happen. There's a chance people get scared in the league. They think wide receivers deep, and it is to a degree, and they pick up their running back, and maybe they go the next round in the 3rd round. They go wide receiver, so they feel like they're not left out. Maybe they drafted wide receiver early, and now they're coming back on the 2nd round, and they saw that you double-tapped running back. Now the pool has thinned out. No matter what, after that 10 slot in the 2nd round, those 3 running backs are gone. But those people drafting at 11 and 10 might pull up on one of those running backs a little bit earlier, considering the question marks at wide receiver with A.J. Brown, the hamstring, and everything else. If that happens, that could allow one of these wide receivers to fall past you. If not, Davante Adams, solid. Mike Evans can give you those upside weeks. There's George Kittle, and then there's other players down below in the player pool, past ADP, that you could definitely look at to help you get a good build. But I really like this section of the draft. I like both ends of the draft this year. And it really depends on how you want to structure your strategy, how you want to structure your build, and how you want to come away with your draft. Make sure you know the range of your draft, know the people you're drafting with, and then on top of that, just identify the player pools. Like, wide receiver is going to be strong up until like round 9 and 10. Then it's going to thin out a lot. But running back is going to have a lot of upside flyers throughout the double-digit rounds, and you want to save up for that. You don't want to be too deep at running back with the handcuffs, the RB2s, the roster cloggers in the middle of the season by the time we get to those double-digit rounds, because you're going to want a couple of those. Because this year's running back class in the NFL draft was like 20 deep. Last year it was like 3 to 4 deep. So it's going to have a huge effect this season. You're not going to know which one of those late rounders are going to hit till injuries start to hit, but you want to have a few of those upside running backs, and we're going to cover that every single day throughout the season. The trends, the snaps, the targets, the opportunities. So when these guys start getting a little bit more work, you pick them up a week early, you hold on to them for 2 weeks, and then if something happens, you know this running back's been in favor with its coaching staff because he's been getting a little bit more work and it's been increasing. That's why you need to hit that subscribe button, guys. I'm going to help you guys out throughout the season, looking at the advanced stats every single day. I want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.